Good morning, fourth graders. Today we're going to read What Happened to the Lost Colony. Before this, you would have read Coming to the USA, talking about immigrants. And then we talked about why Europeans explored. And then after that, we talked about Christopher Columbus, and you watched a video about Christopher Columbus and what he founded, which was North America, but he actually thought that he was finding the Indies. So now the last thing that we have left in this series of exploration is what happened to the lost colony. And I will read this article to you, and then you will make an entry just like you would for your thoughtful log entry in your reading journals, but instead you'll be clicking on the attached assignment and you will be making an entry on a Google Doc and then turning that in to be graded. Okay, so I'll start reading this to you. What happened to the lost colony? Be sure that you're following along with your copy. When John White left the New English settlement on Roanoke Island in today's North Carolina in 1587, he planned to return soon. He had established a colony of more than 100 settlers. He was returning to England for supplies. However, war between England and Spain prevented his return for 3 years. When he finally returned to the new colony, he found nothing. The settlers and their animals were gone. Their simple buildings were in disrepair. The only clue was the unknown word "Croton" carved on a tree. The fate of this last colony has puzzled historians for more than 4 centuries. In 1607, England sent new settlers to North America. This colony, Jamestown in Virginia, was more successful than the earlier one further south. From it grew the 13 original colonies, eventually the nation we know now as the United States. But what happened to that first colony so long ago? The colony they're referring to is the one on Roanoke Island. Historians have looked at many possible causes to try and solve the mystery of the colonists' disappearance. The site of the colony was a sandy island protected from the Atlantic by other islands. Like all coastal islands, Roanoke was threatened by waves, storms, and beach erosion, or the washing away of land. Perhaps the tiny colony was destroyed by a big storm and massive waves. Now you can turn it over. Other historians have looked at local Native Americans. At first, the English considered them friendly and helpful, but some historians believe that the Native Americans began to feel threatened. Vastly outnumbering the colonists, the Native Americans could have wiped them out. In fact, the mysterious word Croton may refer to a tribe in southern North Carolina. Another theory is that the North Americans may have played a helpful role. The Native Americans may have played a helpful role. Some historians believe that the English settlers realized the site of their colony was too dangerous. They may have moved inland and mingled with the Native Americans. As they learned to live like the Native Americans, these early colonists disappeared from history. Another possibility is the threat from Spanish colonists. Raiders from Spanish colonies farther south in Florida might have attacked the English colonies. To them, a colony founded by their hated enemies would be a rival. Still, other researchers think an outbreak of disease might have killed all the English settlers. After the colonists vanished, the site of the colony itself began to disappear. Low coastal islands often lose land to the constant waves of the ocean. Historians today are not even sure where the colony stood. Many believe this site is now underwater. Others claim it is still on land. Archaeologists, scientists who study old civilizations, have performed many research, including studying old maps. They have discovered remains from the colony scattered around the northern part of Roanoke Island and in the surrounding waters. A swimmer even stepped on a 16th century axe head However, the fate of this lost colony remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Okay, so now your job is to make an entry on a Google Doc. It is attached on this same assignment. And what you're going to do is you're going to determine what theory you think is the best theory as to what might have happened to this colony. And a theory, this word right here, theory, that is an opinion that you're going to have. So, in your opinion, did they feel threatened and outnumbered and the Native Americans wiped them out? Or do you think that maybe the Native Americans helped them and they mingled in with the Native Americans and started living their way of life? Or do you think that maybe the Spanish attacked or disease may have killed the settlers? So tell me what you think may have happened to the colonist inside this colony. Be sure that you use the rubric from your thoughtful log entry. You can either use one that you already have inside your journal, or you can grab one from the place that you keep them in your classroom and use a paper copy as you type. Make for sure that you use all capitals and punctuation, just like if you're typing, and be sure that you explain your thinking in 3 sentences or more. And this will be turned in for a grade that is worth 10 points, just like if you were writing in your reading journal. We'll be collecting those, or we'll be looking on Canvas for those entries the next day, so be sure you get them turned in as soon as possible.